When we think about forests, gardens, or even the damp corners of a city, our minds often drift to the tall trees, blooming flowers, or bustling wildlife. But beneath our feet lies an entirely different world, a hidden universe that quietly hums with life and mystery. This world is not defined by green leaves or colorful petals, but by soft, delicate, and sometimes strange organisms we call mushrooms. These silent dwellers of the earth are more than just fungi popping up after rain. They are living networks of astonishing complexity, bridging life and decay, growth and dissolution. Mushrooms are the visible fruiting bodies of fungi, and yet, what we see above ground is merely a tiny fraction of what exists. Beneath the soil, under leaf litter, and entwined with roots, there is a vast mycelial network. This network, sometimes referred to as the wood wide web, stretches across forests like a hidden web of communication, nutrients, and life support. Through this underground network, trees and plants exchange nutrients, warn each other of dangers, and even nurture seedlings. In a sense, mushrooms are the storytellers of the forest, whispering secrets through invisible threads. Imagine a forest after a rainfall. The air is cool and earthy, the scent of wet soil fills your senses, and you notice tiny, delicate caps emerging from the leaf litter. Each mushroom tells a story of patience, adaptation, and resilience. Some are brilliant in color, almost glowing against the muted browns of fallen leaves. Others are modest and unassuming, blending perfectly with their surroundings, hiding in plain sight. Despite their gentle presence, mushrooms play a profound role in the cycle of life and death, turning what once was living matter into nourishment for the next generation. The study of mushrooms, known as mycology, has unveiled a world of astonishing complexity. Scientists have discovered that certain species can break down pollutants in the environment, clean contaminated soil, and even act as natural medicines. Some fungi form symbiotic relationships with plants, exchanging sugars for essential minerals, while others operate as decomposers, patiently dismantling organic matter to feed the ecosystem. This balance between cooperation and decomposition is what sustains entire forests. Every mushroom, no matter how small, contributes to this delicate harmony, ensuring that life continues in cycles that we are only beginning to understand. Even though mushrooms appear simple at first glance, their life processes are intricate and remarkable. They do not rely on photosynthesis like plants. Instead, they draw nutrients from their surroundings in diverse and often mysterious ways. Some are saprotrophic, feeding on dead organic matter. Others are parasitic, subtly drawing sustenance from living hosts without immediately killing them. And then there are the mycorrhizal fungi, forming mutualistic bonds with plants that can last decades. Each method of survival reflects millions of years of evolution, a quiet testament to resilience and adaptability. If you walk through a forest floor, notice how mushrooms seem to emerge overnight, as if by magic. This sudden appearance is deceptive. Their growth is a culmination of months or even years of underground activity. Mycelium quietly spreads through soil, decomposing, communicating, and preparing the conditions for fruiting bodies to emerge. What seems ephemeral is actually the visible tip of an enormous and enduring organism. In this sense, mushrooms are both transient and eternal, fleeting in appearance but deeply rooted in the cycles of life around them. The shapes, textures, and colors of mushrooms are not mere accidents of nature. They are carefully crafted adaptations to their environment. Some mushrooms are shaped like delicate umbrellas, channeling rainwater to nourish their hidden networks. Others mimic leaves, twigs, or even stones to evade predators. A few species emit strong odors to attract insects for spore dispersal, while others rely on the wind or the subtle movement of small animals to spread their progeny. Every characteristic, every curve, every hue is a strategy honed over millennia to survive, reproduce, and thrive in the quiet shadows of the world. In essence, mushrooms remind us that life is not always loud or obvious. Some of the most important processes on Earth happen silently, beneath our feet, away from our immediate perception. They teach us patience, resilience, and interconnectedness. They exist in the spaces we often overlook, bridging the realms of life and decay, growth and death, visibility and hiddenness. And as we begin to study them, to marvel at their subtle beauty and essential roles, we start to appreciate a universe that thrives quietly, patiently, and endlessly beneath the surface of what we consider ordinary. As you take a closer look at the world of mushrooms, a sense of quiet astonishment begins to emerge. There are mushrooms shaped like tiny parasols, fragile and almost translucent, as if nature sculpted them from glass. Others take the form of thick, robust stools, with surfaces that ripple and fold like the waves of a calm sea. Some mushrooms bloom in vivid reds, electric blues, or deep purples, standing in contrast to the muted browns and greens of their surroundings. Each form, each color, is a gentle invitation to pause, observe, and reflect on the subtle artistry of nature. The diversity of mushrooms is staggering. Scientists have identified over 140,000 species, and many more remain undiscovered in the quiet corners of rainforests, grasslands, and urban spaces alike. Some thrive in extreme environments, pushing the boundaries of life itself. The Arctic tundra, scorched deserts, and deep caves host species that have adapted to conditions most life forms would find inhospitable. Yet despite these differences, all mushrooms share a common purpose: survival, reproduction, and the maintenance of life's delicate balance. Take the shelf fungi, for instance. These fungi cling to the sides of decaying trees, forming smooth, layered brackets that sometimes extend for several feet. They seem almost architectural, like natural terraces growing slowly over time. In contrast, the delicate fairy inkcap mushrooms rise in clusters, their tiny caps like umbrellas over miniature crowds, disappearing almost as quickly as they appear. The ephemeral nature of these fungi lends them a sense of magic, as if the forest itself is performing a slow, silent dance of creation and disappearance. Color plays a subtle yet profound role in the life of mushrooms. Brightly colored mushrooms often serve as warnings, signaling to animals that they may be toxic or unpalatable. Others, however, rely on soft, muted tones to blend seamlessly into their environment, escaping the attention of curious predators. Some species even glow faintly in the dark, emitting a soft, ethereal light known as bioluminescence. In the quiet night, these glowing mushrooms transform the forest floor into a dreamscape, a gentle reminder that wonder often exists in the places we least expect. Texture and structure also reveal the ingenuity of fungi. The smooth, wet surface of a mushroom cap helps shed rainwater, preventing decay and ensuring the longevity of the spores beneath. The delicate gills underneath the cap are marvels of engineering, maximizing the surface area for spore production and dispersal. Some mushrooms release spores in clouds that drift on the wind, while others rely on tiny insects, animals, or even water droplets to carry them to new locations. Every design is precise, purposeful, and quietly miraculous. Even the growth patterns of mushrooms tell a story. Some grow singly, solitary sentinels in mossy clearings, commanding attention with their subtle elegance. Others cluster in dense communities, creating miniature villages of caps and stems, each one contributing to a collective rhythm of life. These arrangements are not random. They reflect strategies honed over millennia, balancing competition and cooperation, visibility and concealment. The forest floor becomes a canvas where nature experiments with form, color, and function in endless variations. Beyond what the eye can see, mushrooms possess forms that are invisible yet extraordinary. The underground mycelium networks, the hidden threads connecting plant roots and soil particles, form intricate webs of life. These networks sometimes stretch for miles, linking entire ecosystems in silent, supportive relationships. While we marvel at the visible caps above ground, it is this hidden structure that sustains life, feeds forests, and creates the conditions for countless organisms to thrive. In observing mushrooms, we are reminded that beauty and complexity often hide in subtlety. The shapes, colors, and textures of fungi inspire curiosity, inviting us to slow down and notice the wonders around us. Each mushroom is a story, a quiet testament to adaptation, survival, and the delicate balance of life. And as we continue our exploration, we begin to see that every forest, every garden, every damp patch of earth harbors a hidden universe, waiting patiently for those willing to look and listen. Beneath the calm surface of the forest floor, a quiet drama unfolds. Mushrooms, for all their visible elegance, are only the final act of a story that begins long before they appear. It all starts with a spore, the tiniest, most unassuming seed of life. Spores are almost invisible to the naked eye, carried by wind, water, or curious creatures, floating through the world until they find the right conditions to settle. Despite their size, these spores contain immense potential, a blueprint for life that, if nurtured, will grow into an intricate web of existence beneath the soil. Once a spore lands in a suitable environment, it germinates, sending out delicate threads called hyphae. These hyphae explore the soil, intertwining with other hyphae to form an extensive network known as mycelium. The mycelium is a silent, patient engineer of the underground world, spreading through roots, decaying matter, and soil particles. It absorbs nutrients, communicates with plants, and prepares the ecosystem for the next stage of life. To walk across a forest floor is to walk above a living network that quietly sustains the very trees and plants we admire. The growth of mycelium is slow, almost imperceptible, yet relentless. Day by day, thread by thread, it expands, weaving a hidden tapestry of life. It senses the environment, responds to chemical signals, and forms partnerships with plants and other organisms. In some forests, a single mycelial network can span acres, connecting trees that appear separate but are deeply intertwined beneath the surface. These networks can be centuries old, enduring long after the trees above have withered, quietly reminding us that life's persistence often exists where we least notice. After months, sometimes years, of underground activity, the conditions become perfect for the emergence of a fruiting body, the mushroom that we see and admire. Moisture, temperature, light, and nutrient availability all play a role in triggering this process. When the mushroom finally pushes through soil or leaf litter, it seems almost magical, like a quiet miracle of nature. This is the moment when the invisible world becomes visible, when patience and subtlety give way to fleeting beauty. The fruiting body itself is designed for reproduction. Its cap, gills, and spores are all meticulously arranged to ensure the continuation of life. Gills beneath the cap provide vast surfaces for spore production, while the shape of the cap and stem aids in dispersal, allowing spores to drift into the world and continue the cycle. Some mushrooms release spores in fine clouds that rise gently into the air, while others rely on animals to unknowingly carry them to new locations. The entire life cycle is a delicate dance of timing, adaptation, and interaction with the surrounding environment. Yet, not all mushrooms follow the same script. Some species produce fruiting bodies only once a year, while others appear multiple times, responding to subtle shifts in humidity or temperature. Certain fungi form symbiotic relationships with trees, emerging in harmony with their hosts, while parasitic species quietly extract nutrients from living plants. The variety of life strategies reflects the ingenuity of fungi, showing us that survival is not a single path but a multitude of possibilities, each honed through millions of years of evolution. In witnessing a mushroom's life cycle, one becomes aware of nature's quiet patience. We often seek instant results, yet here is a world that thrives on slow processes, where months of unseen work culminate in moments of fleeting brilliance. The forest floor becomes a stage, the mycelium a hidden actor, and the mushroom a delicate performance, inviting us to pause, breathe, and marvel at the complexity that lies beneath our feet. The life cycle of mushrooms also teaches us about resilience. Spores endure harsh conditions, waiting patiently for the right moment. Mycelium persists through droughts, fires, and the ever-changing dynamics of ecosystems. Every emergence of a mushroom is a gentle reminder that life adapts, persists, and finds a way, often in quiet, unnoticed ways. And as we observe these cycles, we are invited to reflect, to slow down, and to appreciate the subtle rhythms that sustain all life around us. By understanding the hidden life beneath the forest floor, we begin to see mushrooms not just as isolated organisms, but as vital threads in a vast web of life. They connect, nourish, and sustain. They remind us that the most profound processes often occur in silence, and that patience and persistence are as essential to life as sunlight and water. In the story of mushrooms, we find a lesson in humility, wonder, and the beauty of the unseen. In the quiet shadows of forests, mushrooms speak a language we rarely notice. Not with words or sounds, but through subtle chemical signals, nutrient exchanges, and intricate networks beneath the soil. The mycelium, the hidden web connecting roots and earth, is the primary medium of this communication. Through these delicate threads, mushrooms interact with trees, plants, and even other fungi, forming relationships that are essential to the forest's survival. Consider a tree under attack by insects. Through its roots, it can release chemical signals into the surrounding mycelium. The network conveys these warnings to neighboring trees, prompting them to strengthen their defenses. In this sense, the mycelial web acts as a forest-wide messaging system, allowing organisms to prepare for threats before they arrive. Mushrooms are the silent connectors in this system, ensuring that messages travel efficiently and that life remains resilient against danger. Mycorrhizal fungi, the most intimate partners of plants, demonstrate this beautifully. Their mycelium intertwines with plant roots, forming a mutually beneficial bond. The fungi provide essential minerals, water, and nutrients to the plants, while receiving sugars and carbohydrates in return. This exchange is subtle, constant, and invisible, yet it sustains entire ecosystems. Without these fungal networks, many trees would struggle to survive, and the forest would lose the intricate balance that allows life to flourish. Beyond cooperation, mushrooms also play a role in competition. Fungal networks can restrict the growth of invasive plants, secrete chemicals that inhibit rival fungi, and adjust their growth patterns to maximize efficiency. Even in these seemingly ruthless strategies, there is an underlying elegance. The forest operates like a well-orchestrated symphony where every organism, including mushrooms, contributes to harmony, balance, and continuity. Some mushrooms even form alliances with animals. Certain species attract insects or small mammals with bright colors, sweet scents, or enticing textures, ensuring that their spores are carried far and wide. Others release chemical compounds into the soil that encourage the growth of specific plants, subtly shaping the ecosystem over time. Through these interactions, mushrooms influence life in ways we are only beginning to understand, revealing their remarkable adaptability and intelligence. The speed and efficiency of fungal communication are astonishing. While we might imagine mycelial signals as slow-moving, studies show that information can travel through these networks at remarkable rates, alerting trees to stress, disease, or nutrient changes within hours or days. The forest floor becomes a living, breathing network, with mushrooms as the invisible conductors of a complex symphony. Every thread, every spore, every chemical exchange contributes to this delicate equilibrium, a reminder that the most profound actions often happen quietly, without fanfare. Mushrooms also facilitate cooperation among different species. In mixed forests, they can connect the roots of conifers and deciduous trees, allowing them to share resources. In grasslands, they support the growth of diverse plant communities, enhancing soil quality and fostering resilience against drought or disease. These networks demonstrate that survival is not solely about individual strength, but about connection, balance, and mutual support. Through this silent language, mushrooms teach us patience, observation, and humility. We often measure life by what is visible, fast, and loud, yet the most vital processes occur beneath the surface, slowly, persistently, and harmoniously. By slowing down and noticing these interactions, we begin to appreciate the depth of intelligence and the quiet sophistication inherent in natural systems. The secret language of mushrooms reminds us that life is interconnected in ways we might not always perceive. Trees, plants, fungi, and animals exist in a delicate dance, exchanging nutrients, messages, and support. The mushrooms, often overlooked and underestimated, are essential narrators of this story. They reveal that resilience, survival, and harmony often arise from cooperation, subtlety, and patience. And as we learn to observe and respect these hidden connections, we are invited to see our world with new wonder, curiosity, and quiet appreciation. Walk slowly through a forest after rain, and you will notice mushrooms emerging quietly among fallen leaves, moss, and decaying wood. They appear unassuming, yet beneath their delicate caps lies a profound purpose. They are nature's recyclers, tirelessly transforming death into life. Every fallen leaf, every rotting log, and every discarded plant is a potential source of nourishment for fungi, and through this quiet recycling, mushrooms sustain the forest ecosystem. Mushrooms have evolved remarkable strategies to break down organic matter. Their hyphae secrete enzymes capable of decomposing complex substances such as cellulose and lignin, the tough components of plant cell walls. This slow, patient process releases nutrients back into the soil, enriching it and making them available for other organisms. Without mushrooms and their decomposing power, forests would be buried in unprocessed organic matter, and the cycle of life would stall. Some mushrooms specialize in specific roles. Saprotrophic fungi focus solely on dead and decaying matter, gently dismantling the past to feed the present. Others, parasitic species, quietly extract nutrients from living hosts, maintaining a delicate balance between life and decay. And then there are the mycorrhizal fungi, those subtle partners of plants, which not only feed themselves but also enrich the lives of their symbiotic companions. In every case, mushrooms demonstrate an uncanny ability to maintain equilibrium in the natural world. Consider the quiet elegance of a decomposing log. Beneath the rough bark, fungi spread like a living lacework, secreting chemicals that break the wood into its essential components. Over months or years, the log softens, crumbles, and returns to the soil, providing nourishment for new plants and trees. This slow alchemy is a reminder that life is a cycle, where endings give rise to beginnings, and decay becomes the foundation for renewal. Mushrooms are also essential in recycling nutrients that other organisms cannot access. Nitrogen, phosphorus, and other vital minerals locked in dead matter are released by fungi, feeding plants and maintaining the productivity of the ecosystem. In doing so, mushrooms quietly support life far beyond their immediate surroundings. Every mushroom contributes, in its own way, to the invisible network that sustains forests, grasslands, and even urban green spaces. Some fungi even work in tandem with humans and other animals, accelerating decomposition or aiding in environmental restoration. Certain species can break down pollutants, cleanse contaminated soils, and restore ecosystems damaged by human activity. Their abilities remind us that mushrooms are not only crucial for natural cycles but also hold immense potential for solving challenges in our own world. They are patient, diligent, and resourceful, qualities we might aspire to emulate. The role of mushrooms as recyclers is both subtle and grand. They do not announce their work with fanfare, yet their impact is profound. Forests, grasslands, and gardens alike owe their fertility, resilience, and diversity to the quiet labor of fungi. As we walk among them, it becomes clear that these organisms are more than simple plants or curiosities. They are the living machinery of life itself, transforming death into opportunity and scarcity into abundance. By observing mushrooms in their decomposing work, we gain a new appreciation for the rhythm of life. The cycle of growth, decay, and renewal unfolds at a gentle pace, inviting us to slow down and witness its quiet beauty. Mushrooms, in their patient recycling, teach us that life is not a race but a delicate balance, where every action, no matter how small, contributes to the sustainability and harmony of the world. And so, each mushroom, each thread of mycelium, each decaying log becomes a testament to nature's patience and ingenuity. They remind us that even in silence, even in invisibility, profound work is happening. Life continues, nourished by unseen hands, and the forest thrives, all because of these gentle, tireless recyclers, quietly shaping the world beneath our feet. As we wander deeper into the world of fungi, we discover that mushrooms are not only masters of survival and recycling, they also possess hidden powers that have fascinated humans for centuries. Some mushrooms harbor remarkable medicinal properties, quietly supporting life, health, and well-being. Others contain compounds that influence the mind, opening doors to altered perception, introspection, and even spiritual experiences. In both cases, these fungi reveal a subtle magic that exists quietly, waiting to be understood. Medicinal mushrooms have been valued in traditional medicine across cultures for thousands of years. Reishi, often called the mushroom of immortality, has been used in East Asia to enhance longevity, support immunity, and calm the mind. Its woody, lacquered cap and slow-growing nature reflect a patient strength that mirrors its effects on those who consume it. Similarly, chaga mushrooms, growing in cold forests on birch trees, are rich in antioxidants and compounds believed to combat oxidative stress. These fungi quietly transform the ordinary act of consuming them into a ritual of care, nurturing both body and mind. Then there are mushrooms with psychedelic properties, such as psilocybe species, which contain psilocybin. These fungi have been used for centuries in indigenous ceremonies, guiding participants through introspective journeys and fostering a sense of connection to nature and the universe. The effects are subtle yet profound. Perceptions shift, thoughts untangle, and a sense of unity with the living world emerges. In a way, these mushrooms teach us about consciousness itself, revealing the delicate interplay between biology, mind, and environment. What is remarkable about both medicinal and psychedelic mushrooms is their precision and subtlety. They do not force change, they facilitate it. Reishi gently calms the nervous system. Chaga strengthens it over time, and psilocybin encourages reflection rather than dictating experience. Like the forest that nurtures them, these fungi operate on a quiet rhythm, offering their gifts only when approached with care, patience, and respect. The compounds within mushrooms are astonishingly complex. Polysaccharides, terpenes, antioxidants, and other molecules interact with the human body in subtle, yet profound ways. Scientists are still uncovering their mechanisms, how they modulate immune responses, combat inflammation, and even support mental well-being. Each discovery adds to our understanding, revealing a world where biology and chemistry meet quiet wisdom. The forest, in essence, has been teaching us for millennia, with mushrooms as its understated messengers. Psychedelic mushrooms, in particular, offer a window into both the external and internal worlds. Their influence can inspire awe, creativity, and deep introspection, prompting people to contemplate life, death, and the interconnectedness of all living things. In controlled settings, psilocybin is now being studied for its potential to treat depression, anxiety, and PTSD, reflecting how ancient knowledge is gradually aligning with modern science. Mushrooms, in this sense, serve as bridges between tradition and research, between the visible and invisible, between the self and the larger web of life. Even their appearance seems to reflect these powers. The caps of psychedelic mushrooms, often modest yet precise, hide complex chemical architectures within. The gills beneath their surface, intricate and delicate, are designed to release spores into the world, spreading life silently while harboring potential that can influence the mind. There is a harmony in this design, a subtle symmetry that speaks to evolution's elegance and the quiet genius of nature. Through medicinal and psychedelic mushrooms, we are reminded that the natural world contains wisdom beyond what we immediately perceive. Life is not merely a series of mechanical processes, it is a continuum of interactions, subtle influences, and hidden potentials. Mushrooms invite us to slow down, observe, and approach life with curiosity, patience, and respect. Their powers are not loud or forceful. They are gentle, transformative, and enduring, reflecting the same calm persistence we have seen in every other aspect of their existence. As we continue our journey through the world of fungi, we begin to understand that mushrooms are more than organisms. They are teachers. They guide us toward deeper understanding, not only of ecosystems but of ourselves. They remind us that transformation often occurs quietly, invisibly, and over time. In their stillness lies power, in their subtlety, wisdom, and in their patience, the art of living in harmony with the world around us. As we wander through forests and fields, observing the quiet beauty of mushrooms, it is easy to forget that humans have long been captivated by their mysterious forms and hidden powers. Across cultures and centuries, mushrooms have inspired stories, art, myths, and rituals, reflecting our fascination with their magic, resilience, and subtle beauty. Their presence has been both practical and symbolic, bridging nature and imagination in ways that continue to inspire awe. In ancient folklore, mushrooms often appear as mysterious, otherworldly beings. Some cultures saw them as portals to hidden realms, gateways between the mundane world and spiritual dimensions. The delicate fairy rings, circles of mushrooms appearing mysteriously in meadows and forests, were thought to be traces of mystical beings dancing in secret. People whispered that stepping into such a ring could transport one into the world of spirits or grant fleeting glimpses of magic. These stories, passed down through generations, transformed humble fungi into objects of wonder, reverence, and caution. Artists, too, have found inspiration in the subtle geometry and elegance of mushrooms. Painters and illustrators have captured their flowing curves, intricate gills, and delicate textures, translating the quiet poetry of fungi into visual form. Sculptors have mimicked their shapes, celebrating the balance between fragility and strength. Even photographers, equipped with nothing more than a camera and patience, have turned the forest floor into a stage, capturing mushrooms in soft light, shrouded in mist or bathed in golden rays of dawn. Through art, the quiet presence of mushrooms becomes a meditation on beauty, transience, and the hidden rhythms of life. In literature and storytelling, mushrooms often symbolize transformation and mystery. Writers describe forests where mushrooms sprout overnight, signaling magical change or secret knowledge. They serve as metaphors for patience, growth, and the unseen forces that shape our world. The quiet resilience of fungi becomes a mirror for human experience, reminding us that even the smallest, most overlooked forms of life carry profound meaning. Mushrooms have also played practical and sacred roles in human culture. In traditional societies, certain species were harvested for medicine, nutrition, or ritual. Shamans and healers recognized their subtle effects, using them to connect with the spiritual world or to support physical and mental health. The relationship between humans and mushrooms, carefully observed and respected, reflects a deep understanding of nature's hidden potentials, a knowledge honed through patience, experience, and reverence. Even today, mushrooms continue to influence art, design, and popular culture. They appear in illustrations, fashion, and digital media, often celebrated for their whimsical, organic forms and vibrant colors. From the small cap peeking through moss to the fantastical depictions in films and animations, fungi captivate our imagination, inviting us to explore a world that is at once familiar and mysterious. Their aesthetic qualities echo the quiet elegance we find in natural systems. Simple, intricate, and endlessly fascinating. By studying mushrooms in culture, we begin to see how deeply they are woven into human consciousness. They remind us to notice subtle beauty, to honor patience, and to respect the hidden forces that sustain life. The forest is not just a collection of trees and leaves, it is a living gallery, and mushrooms are its gentle, humble curators, showing us the art of growth, resilience, and quiet magic. In every myth, every story, every painting, the presence of mushrooms conveys a timeless message. The world is full of wonder, often in places we least expect. They teach us to slow down, observe, and appreciate life's delicate details. In their calm, unassuming way, mushrooms connect us to nature, culture, and imagination, bridging the visible and invisible, the ordinary and extraordinary. And as we walk among them, we are invited to enter a meditative state, letting curiosity, reverence, and quiet joy guide our steps through a world that is endlessly fascinating and gently alive. Step softly through any forest, and you might overlook the quiet architects of ecosystems, mushrooms. Their delicate caps and hidden threads do more than decorate the forest floor. They are vital players in maintaining the balance of life. Without these fungi, entire ecosystems would falter. They influence soil health, plant growth, nutrient cycling, and even the survival of countless species that depend on them. Mushrooms, in their patient and understated way, uphold the invisible scaffolding of biodiversity. Mushrooms act as connectors, linking plants, trees, and microorganisms through mycelial networks. These underground threads create pathways for nutrients, water, and chemical signals to flow from one organism to another. Trees that appear isolated may, in fact, be communicating and sharing resources through fungal networks. This silent collaboration supports the growth of diverse plant communities, helping forests withstand environmental stressors like drought, disease, or nutrient scarcity. Every mushroom is a conduit of life, maintaining harmony in complex ecosystems. The presence of mushrooms also fosters resilience in ecosystems. By decomposing dead organic matter, fungi recycle nutrients that might otherwise remain locked in fallen leaves, dead wood, or decaying organisms. This recycling feeds plants, supports insects, nourishes microorganisms, and sustains the cycles of life that countless creatures depend upon. Forests without fungi would struggle to maintain their fertility, leading to diminished biodiversity and weakened ecosystems. In this way, mushrooms quietly uphold the richness of life around them. Some fungi form symbiotic relationships that are particularly vital for biodiversity. Mycorrhizal fungi, for instance, partner with specific plant species, enhancing their growth and survival. These relationships allow plants to thrive in nutrient-poor soils, expand into new habitats, and coexist with other species. In turn, the plants provide food and habitat for insects, birds, and mammals. The impact of a single mushroom species can ripple outward, affecting entire communities, revealing a delicate web of interdependence. Even parasitic fungi, often misunderstood, play a role in regulating ecosystems. By selectively affecting certain species, they prevent any one plant or tree from dominating, promoting diversity and balance. Their subtle influence ensures that ecosystems remain dynamic, resilient, and adaptable to change. In this context, every mushroom, whether decomposer, symbiont, or parasite, has a purpose, contributing to the complexity and beauty of the natural world. Mushrooms also affect above-ground biodiversity. Certain plants only thrive in the presence of specific fungi, while some animals rely on mushrooms for food, shelter, or reproduction. Insects may lay eggs within fruiting bodies, birds may feed on spores, and mammals may disperse fungal spores across landscapes. These interactions form intricate networks of dependence, highlighting how fungi connect life both below and above the soil. Forests, grasslands, and wetlands are richer and more resilient because of mushrooms. Their ability to sustain plant communities, recycle nutrients, and support diverse species demonstrates an ecological intelligence that is often invisible yet essential. The quiet patience of fungi teaches us that biodiversity is not maintained by force or speed, but through persistence, cooperation, and subtle influence. By observing mushrooms, we learn that ecosystems are not static collections of individual organisms. They are living networks of interdependence, communication, and transformation. Fungi remind us that small, quiet actions can have profound effects, sustaining life in ways that are often unseen. Every mushroom, every thread of mycelium, every decomposed leaf contributes to the tapestry of life, supporting diversity, resilience, and harmony in a world that is endlessly complex and gently alive. If you look closely at a mushroom, you may notice that it seems delicate, ephemeral, even fragile. Yet hidden within its cap and gills lies an extraordinary power, the ability to reproduce and spread life across vast distances. Mushrooms have evolved some of the most intricate and quiet methods of propagation in the natural world. From spores drifting on the wind to subtle partnerships with animals, fungi ensure that life continues, often in ways we barely perceive. The journey begins with spores, tiny reproductive units no larger than a speck of dust. Despite their size, spores are remarkably resilient. They endure harsh conditions, survive droughts, resist extreme temperatures, and remain dormant for months or even years until the perfect conditions arise. Like seeds carried on invisible currents, spores are nature's explorers, seeking new environments to colonize, to continue the subtle work of life. When conditions are right, moist soil, decaying organic matter, and gentle warmth, the spores germinate, sending out delicate threads called hyphae. These hyphae spread through soil, wood, or leaf litter, quietly connecting with other hyphae to form an expansive mycelial network. This underground web, invisible to the naked eye, is both nursery and highway, supporting the growth of future fruiting bodies and linking ecosystems together. The mycelium itself can extend for miles, spanning forests and fields, creating a living network of connection, communication, and sustenance. Mushrooms employ diverse strategies to ensure their spores reach new territories. Some release clouds of spores into the air, allowing the wind to carry them great distances. Others rely on animals, tiny insects, birds, or mammals, to transport spores unknowingly. A deer brushing against a mushroom, a fly crawling across a cap, or water flowing over decaying wood can all become vectors for fungal reproduction. The forest is alive with quiet interactions, each one contributing to the dispersal of life in ways that are subtle, patient, and astonishing. Certain mushrooms have evolved even more remarkable techniques. Puffball fungi, for example, release spores explosively when disturbed, sending tiny particles floating like mist across the forest floor. Some fungi emit alluring scents or produce brightly colored fruiting bodies to attract animals, ensuring their spores are carried to fertile ground. Others rely on rain, using water droplets to wash spores away from the parent and into new environments. Every method reflects ingenuity and adaptation honed over millions of years, a quiet testament to life's persistence. The success of mushrooms depends not just on dispersal but on timing. Fruiting bodies emerge when conditions are optimal, maximizing the likelihood that spores will find suitable environments. Some species synchronize their growth with the seasons, appearing in clusters after rainstorms or in the cool mists of early morning. Others are unpredictable, popping up seemingly overnight in shaded corners or hidden clearings. This balance between patience and sudden emergence adds to the sense of magic and wonder surrounding fungi. Beyond the physical act of reproduction, mushrooms influence ecosystems by determining where and how plants grow. Mycorrhizal fungi connect roots, sharing nutrients and supporting young seedlings, ensuring that forests regenerate and flourish. Even the smallest mushroom, releasing tiny spores into the soil, plays a role in shaping landscapes, plant communities, and the delicate balance of life. In observing how mushrooms spread, we are reminded of the quiet ingenuity inherent in nature. Life persists not through force or speed, but through patience, subtlety, and careful adaptation. The spores, drifting silently on the wind, carry with them the promise of future forests, meadows, and ecosystems. Each mushroom, each thread of mycelium, and each reproductive act is part of a timeless cycle, a gentle rhythm of birth, growth, decay, and renewal. Mushrooms teach us that even the smallest and most overlooked organisms can have profound impacts on the world. They demonstrate that life is resilient, adaptive, and interconnected, thriving through subtle means and hidden networks. As spores float on the breeze and threads of mycelium weave unseen beneath the soil, we are invited to slow down, observe, and appreciate the quiet marvels that sustain the natural world. In their delicate, patient ways, mushrooms reveal the beauty of persistence, the magic of connection, and the wonder of life that unfolds in silence all around us. At first glance, mushrooms seem calm, almost meditative in their presence. They rise quietly from soil, moss, or decaying wood, as if inviting us to pause and breathe. Yet hidden beneath this stillness is a remarkable capacity for rapid growth. Some mushrooms emerge with astonishing speed, appearing almost overnight, transforming the forest floor in ways that feel both magical and mysterious. Observing this subtle choreography reminds us of life's quiet wonders and the unseen forces that shape the natural world. The growth of mushrooms begins in mycelium, a delicate network of threads spreading through soil, wood, and leaf litter. Mycelium grows steadily, often invisible to human eyes, absorbing nutrients and preparing the foundation for fruiting bodies. When conditions become favorable, humidity, temperature, and nutrient availability aligned, the mycelium initiates a rapid transformation. Within hours, a tiny bud can swell, stretch, and develop into a fully formed mushroom, seemingly overnight. This sudden emergence feels almost miraculous, yet it is the result of months, sometimes years, of patient preparation. Certain species are particularly remarkable for their speed. The infamous Psilocybe cubensis, for example, can grow several centimeters in a single day under optimal conditions. Even common forest mushrooms can double or triple in size overnight, quietly asserting their presence on the forest floor. This rapid growth requires precise coordination at the cellular level. Water is drawn into cells, tissues expand, and chemical signals orchestrate the transformation, all without noise or visible strain. The forest watches in silence as this delicate miracle unfolds. The patterns of mushroom growth are equally fascinating. Some emerge as solitary sentinels, standing elegantly alone, while others form dense clusters or rings. Fairy rings, perhaps the most enchanting pattern, appear when mycelium grows radially beneath the soil, sending mushrooms upward along the edges of a hidden circle. These rings can expand over time, creating perfect geometric shapes that seem both deliberate and mysterious. In each instance, the mushrooms reveal nature's precision, harmony, and subtle artistry. Growth patterns are influenced by more than just environmental conditions. The mycelium senses obstacles, nutrient-rich zones, and the presence of other organisms, adjusting the placement and timing of fruiting bodies accordingly. Some mushrooms bend toward light, while others remain shaded, blending seamlessly into their surroundings. Every detail, from cap shape to stem length, is part of a carefully orchestrated adaptation, ensuring survival, reproduction, and ecological balance. Even the ephemeral nature of mushrooms contributes to their beauty. Many species last only a few days, their delicate caps curling, fading, or dissolving as their spores disperse. This fleeting existence mirrors the cycles of nature, reminding us that growth and decay are inseparable and that beauty often resides in impermanence. Watching a mushroom emerge, flourish, and fade is akin to witnessing a quiet meditation in motion, a rhythm of life played out on the forest floor. The speed and elegance of mushroom growth offer lessons in patience and timing. Life does not always demand effort or struggle to be remarkable. Sometimes, quiet preparation leads to sudden, awe-inspiring results. The forest teaches us that growth can be gentle yet rapid, subtle yet profound, and that even small, unassuming organisms can accomplish feats that astonish those who take the time to observe. In understanding how mushrooms grow, we begin to appreciate the hidden labor, resilience, and intelligence that permeate nature. Each mushroom is both the product of patient groundwork and a fleeting, miraculous display of life. The forest floor becomes a stage, and the mushrooms perform silently, teaching us that wonder often unfolds in quiet, unexpected moments. Through their astonishing growth patterns, mushrooms invite us to slow down, notice the details, and marvel at the hidden rhythms that sustain the living world. Walk through a forest, and you may notice the towering trees, the rustling leaves, and the dappled sunlight on the forest floor. But beneath this serene surface lies a hidden partnership, one of the most remarkable in nature, the symbiosis between mushrooms and trees. This quiet collaboration sustains entire ecosystems, weaving life together in ways we are only beginning to understand. At the heart of this relationship are mycorrhizal fungi, whose mycelium threads entwine with tree roots. Through these connections, nutrients, water, and chemical signals flow silently between the fungi and the trees. The mushrooms provide minerals and moisture that the trees cannot easily access, while the trees share sugars produced through photosynthesis. It is a delicate exchange, an elegant choreography of giving and receiving, invisible to the eye yet vital to the survival of both partners. This symbiosis goes far beyond simple survival. Fungal networks can enhance a tree's resistance to disease, help seedlings establish themselves in competitive environments, and even allow forests to recover after fire, drought, or human disturbance. Trees that might otherwise struggle to survive thrive when connected to mycelial networks. In turn, fungi benefit from a steady supply of nutrients, forming a partnership built on trust, patience, and mutual support. The relationship is dynamic and responsive. Mycelium senses changes in soil, moisture, and nutrient availability, adjusting its growth to maximize benefits for both itself and its tree partners. When a tree faces stress, such as insect attacks or drought, the fungal network can transmit chemical signals, warning other trees and enhancing collective resilience. This silent communication forms a living web, connecting organisms across the forest in a shared network of support. Some trees are selective in their fungal partners, forming bonds only with specific species. Others are more promiscuous, benefiting from a diversity of fungi that enhance nutrient acquisition and strengthen ecosystem stability. Over time, these partnerships shape the structure, health, and diversity of forests, influencing which plants thrive, which seedlings survive, and how entire landscapes evolve. The visible mushrooms are merely the fruiting bodies of these complex networks. When you see a mushroom emerging near a tree, it is the outward sign of an invisible alliance stretching beneath the soil. The mycelium has worked for months or even years, intertwining with roots, exchanging nutrients, and preparing the forest floor for new growth. What appears ephemeral above ground is underpinned by deep, enduring structures that sustain life quietly, patiently, and elegantly. Mushrooms and trees teach us profound lessons about interdependence. No organism thrives in isolation. Survival depends on connection, cooperation, and adaptation. The forest is a living example of this principle, where strength emerges not from competition alone but from collaboration, communication, and shared resources. Each mushroom, each thread of mycelium, each tree root contributes to a symphony of life that is as delicate as it is resilient. By observing this symbiosis, we begin to appreciate the subtle intelligence of nature. Life is not a race or a struggle for dominance. It is a continuous negotiation, a network of exchanges that maintains balance and sustains growth. Mushrooms remind us that even the smallest, quietest organisms can play monumental roles, connecting life in ways we might never see but can always sense in the vitality of the forest. In every forest, from the moss-covered undergrowth to the canopy above, mushrooms silently nurture, protect, and sustain. They are nature's caretakers, guiding growth, fostering resilience, and maintaining harmony. Their partnership with trees is a testament to the elegance of life, complex, patient, and endlessly fascinating. And as we walk among them, we are invited to slow down, breathe, and marvel at the quiet brilliance of this living, breathing network that thrives beneath our very feet. In the quiet darkness of a forest at night, a subtle glow sometimes emerges from the forest floor. At first, it is barely noticeable, a gentle flicker, a soft shimmer among fallen leaves and decaying wood. As your eyes adjust, the faint light becomes clearer, revealing tiny luminous mushrooms, glowing like stars scattered across the earth. These are bioluminescent fungi, living lanterns that illuminate the hidden world in magical and mysterious ways. Bioluminescence in mushrooms is caused by chemical reactions within their cells. Enzymes interact with natural compounds to emit light, creating a gentle, ethereal glow. Unlike artificial lights, this luminescence is soft and continuous, often visible in deep shades of green, blue, or yellow. It is not merely decorative, it serves important ecological purposes. Some species use light to attract insects, which help disperse spores, ensuring the survival and spread of the fungi. Others may use it as a subtle warning, signaling toxicity or unpalatability. Walking through a grove of glowing mushrooms is like stepping into a dream. The faint lights reflect on moss, leaves, and moisture, creating a serene, otherworldly landscape. Each glowing cap seems to pulse with quiet life, inviting observation, curiosity, and contemplation. It is a gentle reminder that the natural world holds wonders beyond our usual perception, waiting for those who slow down and pay attention. Bioluminescent fungi appear in diverse environments, from tropical forests to temperate woodlands. Some are so small and subtle that they can be easily overlooked, while others create entire glowing carpets across the forest floor. These phenomena often occur at night, when the contrast between darkness and luminescence is greatest, highlighting the quiet artistry of nature. Observing these mushrooms requires patience, mindfulness, and a willingness to enter the forest at the right time, enhancing the sense of discovery and wonder. The effect of glowing mushrooms extends beyond their biological purpose. To humans, they evoke awe, imagination, and even a sense of calm. Stories and legends have emerged around these fungi, describing fairy lights, enchanted forests, and secret paths illuminated by gentle, living lamps. Poets, artists, and photographers have been drawn to these luminous fungi, capturing their delicate radiance in ways that inspire meditation and reflection. In their glow, we find both beauty and a sense of connection to the hidden rhythms of life. Bioluminescent mushrooms also remind us of the subtle interconnections in ecosystems. Their light not only attracts spore-dispersing insects but also influences other organisms in the environment, shaping behaviors and interactions in ways we are only beginning to understand. These mushrooms are tiny beacons, silently guiding life through night and shadow, illuminating unseen relationships and hidden processes beneath the canopy. There is a meditative quality to witnessing bioluminescence. Standing quietly in the presence of glowing fungi, one becomes aware of the slow, patient processes of life. Months of underground mycelial growth, careful nutrient absorption, and ecological interactions culminate in this soft, magical light. It is a gentle celebration of persistence, patience, and the quiet miracles that unfold beyond human notice. Through these glowing mushrooms, nature teaches us about subtlety, wonder, and interconnectedness. Life's magic is often quiet, revealed in fleeting moments and delicate forms. The glow of these fungi invites contemplation, curiosity, and a sense of calm, a reminder that even in darkness, light persists, guiding life and inspiring awe. As we walk past their soft radiance, we carry with us a vision of a world that is gentle, mysterious, and endlessly fascinating. Beneath the quiet caps of mushrooms lies a world of potential, one that has captivated scientists and healers alike for centuries. While traditional knowledge long revered certain fungi for their medicinal properties, modern research is revealing astonishing details about how mushrooms interact with our bodies, influence health, and even hold the keys to groundbreaking treatments. Observing these developments is like peering into a slow, deliberate alchemy, where life and science meet in harmony. Consider reishi, long celebrated in East Asian medicine as the mushroom of immortality. Its compounds have been studied for their calming effects, immune system support, and potential anti-inflammatory properties. Modern research suggests that polysaccharides and triterpenes within reishi can enhance immune responses, modulate stress, and promote cellular health. What was once a traditional remedy is now recognized as a bridge between ancient wisdom and contemporary science. Similarly, chaga, growing in cold forests on birch trees, is rich in antioxidants. Its compounds help neutralize free radicals and support cellular repair, acting quietly yet effectively to maintain balance within the body. Even the humble turkey tail mushroom, with its striking pattern and resilience, contains compounds that stimulate immunity and are being studied for their potential in supporting cancer treatments. These fungi work subtly, not as immediate cures, but as gentle facilitators of resilience, recovery, and well-being. Modern science has also turned its attention to psychedelic fungi. Psilocybin, the compound in certain magic mushrooms, is being studied for its profound effects on mental health. Research indicates that it can assist in reducing symptoms of depression, anxiety, PTSD, and even end-of-life distress. Unlike conventional medications that often act mechanically, psilocybin gently guides neural pathways, promoting introspection, emotional release, and cognitive flexibility. It is a reminder that mushrooms interact with the mind as thoughtfully and subtly as they do with the soil. The study of fungi in medicine extends beyond humans. Mycologists are investigating how fungal compounds can combat microbial infections, improve soil health for agriculture, and even contribute to sustainable technologies. Certain fungi produce antibiotics or antiviral compounds that could lead to the next generation of treatments. Others support plant growth or help restore ecosystems, showing that the power of mushrooms is not confined to our bodies but extends to entire biological systems. What is most remarkable is the patient rhythm with which mushrooms reveal their secrets. Unlike a laboratory experiment with instant results, understanding fungi requires observation, careful testing, and respect for their slow, deliberate nature. Each discovery feels like a dialogue with the natural world, an invitation to witness life's complexity and ingenuity. From the microscopic compounds within their cells to their broader ecological roles, mushrooms are teachers as much as they are medicines. The intersection of traditional knowledge and modern science demonstrates how mushrooms have always been essential companions to humans. They are healers, guides, and innovators in miniature. They teach us that profound effects often emerge through subtle mechanisms, patience, and interconnectedness, whether influencing the mind, the immune system, or entire ecosystems. By observing mushrooms in medicine and science, we gain not only practical knowledge but also a deeper appreciation for life's delicate balance. The same networks that sustain forests, connect trees, and recycle nutrients also hold secrets that support human health and understanding. Mushrooms remind us that healing can be gentle, intelligent, and intertwined with the rhythms of nature. Their quiet persistence and hidden power reveal that even the smallest, simplest forms of life can profoundly influence the world around them. As we move quietly through forests, fields, and even urban spaces, it becomes clear that mushrooms are not just actors in natural ecosystems. They are also allies in humanity's efforts to live more sustainably. Their unique abilities to recycle matter, detoxify environments, and create innovative materials position fungi as unsung heroes of ecological balance. Observing their work is like watching nature's own laboratories at play, patiently transforming waste into life and challenges into solutions. Mushrooms have an extraordinary capacity for biodegradation. Certain species can break down pollutants, including petroleum products, pesticides, and heavy metals. Through enzymes secreted by their mycelium, they transform toxic substances into harmless compounds, cleaning soils and waterways in ways that feel almost miraculous. Scientists and environmentalists are now harnessing this natural power, planting fungi strategically to restore damaged landscapes and rejuvenate contaminated areas. In this quiet labor, mushrooms demonstrate that patience and persistence often outperform speed and force. Beyond cleaning up, mushrooms offer sustainable alternatives to traditional materials. Mycelium, the root-like network of fungal threads, can be cultivated into strong, lightweight, and biodegradable materials that serve as packaging, insulation, or even construction elements. Unlike plastics or chemically treated wood, mycelium-based materials naturally decompose without harming the environment. This innovative use of fungi reflects the deep potential of natural systems to inspire solutions that are both practical and elegant. Mushrooms also play a vital role in carbon cycling and soil restoration. By decomposing organic matter, they release nutrients back into the earth, supporting plant growth and helping ecosystems store carbon more effectively. In reforestation projects, fungi are often introduced to enhance tree survival, improve soil fertility, and accelerate the recovery of damaged lands. Each thread of mycelium contributes to a web of life that sustains biodiversity while promoting climate resilience. Some fungi are even being explored as sources of biofuel and sustainable food systems. Their rapid growth, minimal resource requirements, and capacity to convert waste into edible matter or energy-rich compounds make them ideal partners for a future in which humans coexist harmoniously with nature. Every mushroom cultivated for these purposes reminds us that innovation can arise from observing and emulating the natural world. The elegance of mushrooms in sustainability lies in their quiet efficiency. They do not announce their work with fanfare. They grow, decompose, recycle, and regenerate in a rhythm that aligns with the cycles of nature. By watching and learning from them, humans can design systems that are regenerative, resilient, and attuned to the subtle balances that support life on Earth. In every forest, meadow, and even urban space, mushrooms are architects of balance. Their work is invisible yet transformative, shaping ecosystems, cleaning environments, and inspiring human innovation. They remind us that solutions to complex problems do not always require force. They often emerge from patience, observation, and collaboration with the living world. Through the lens of environmental sustainability, mushrooms reveal themselves as teachers and allies. They offer lessons in resilience, efficiency, and harmony, showing that even the smallest organisms can have a profound impact. By following their example, we are invited to move gently, think creatively, and respect the quiet rhythms that sustain life, both natural and human-made. Step softly into kitchens, markets, and forests across the globe, and you will discover that mushrooms are far more than forest ornaments. They are treasures of culture, flavor, and tradition. From delicate gourmet varieties to humble forest fungi, mushrooms have nourished human communities for centuries, shaping diets, rituals, and stories with their subtle presence. In every bite, in every tradition, they carry the essence of forests, soil, and seasons, reminding us that food is deeply intertwined with life itself. In East Asia, mushrooms such as shiitake and enoki have been cultivated for centuries, celebrated not only for taste but also for medicinal value. They appear in soups, teas, and delicacies, often honored as gifts of longevity and health. The preparation of mushrooms is an art, slicing, simmering, and seasoning in ways that preserve their delicate texture and enhance their natural flavors. The act of cooking becomes a meditation, a connection to the rhythms of nature, and a quiet celebration of patience and skill. In Europe, mushrooms have long inspired foraging traditions. Families venture into autumn forests, baskets in hand, searching for chanterelles, porcini, and morels. This practice is not only culinary but also social and spiritual. Walking quietly among the trees, breathing the cool, earthy air, foragers connect with the land, with seasons, and with ancestral knowledge. Each mushroom gathered carries a story of place, time, and care, bridging human life with the forest's quiet cycles. Across the Americas, indigenous cultures have honored mushrooms in sacred ceremonies and dietary practices. Certain species were revered as teachers, guides, or sacred food, used to connect with the spiritual world and honor the cycles of life. Even today, these traditions remind us that mushrooms are more than sustenance. They are symbols, allies, and mediators between humans and the natural world. They carry lessons about respect, observation, and harmony that transcend mere nutrition. Culinary appreciation extends beyond tradition into modern gastronomy. Chefs worldwide celebrate the subtle umami of mushrooms, their ability to absorb flavors, and the textural contrast they bring to dishes. From creamy risottos to delicate stir-fries, mushrooms transform meals into sensory experiences, inviting mindfulness with every bite. Their versatility mirrors their ecological adaptability, thriving in diverse environments and complementing countless flavors, textures, and aromas. Even in markets and daily life, mushrooms inspire curiosity and wonder. Farmers cultivate exotic varieties, from lion's mane with its cascading white tendrils to vibrant oyster mushrooms that seem sculpted by nature itself. For many, simply observing these forms, their shapes, colors, and delicate folds, provides a quiet joy akin to wandering through a forest at dawn. Culinary use and visual appreciation merge, creating a sensory meditation on growth, flavor, and the subtle artistry of nature. Mushrooms, in their cultural and culinary roles, remind us of the connection between food, environment, and imagination. They teach us patience, careful observation, and respect for the subtle cycles that produce nourishment. Each mushroom harvested, cooked, or admired carries a story of growth, seasonality, and human curiosity. In their quiet presence, we are invited to slow down, savor life, and notice the intricate beauty woven into our everyday sustenance. Through cuisine and culture, mushrooms continue to connect people across generations and geographies. They inspire culinary innovation, celebrate tradition, and sustain both body and imagination. Their subtle, earthy essence reflects a quiet wisdom, growth, resilience, and interconnectedness that resonates beyond the plate into forests, kitchens, and hearts alike. The journey of mushrooms from forest floor to dining table is a meditation on life itself, reminding us that even the smallest organisms can nourish in ways that are profound, enduring, and quietly transformative. As we continue our quiet journey through the world of fungi, we begin to notice an astonishing truth. Mushrooms are endlessly diverse. From the tiniest specks barely visible on moss to towering, intricate fruiting bodies, they have evolved in countless forms to thrive in almost every corner of the world. Their variety is not just in shape and color, but in function, behavior, and adaptation, a testament to life's endless creativity and patience. Some mushrooms are elegantly simple, small, unassuming, and perfectly adapted to their microenvironments. Others are architectural marvels, with layered caps, intricate gills, or cascading folds that maximize spore dispersal and nutrient absorption. Some glow faintly in the dark, while others remain camouflaged in leaf litter, invisible to all but the most careful observer. Each species has found a way to survive, reproduce, and play its role in the complex networks of life, revealing nature's remarkable ingenuity. Adaptations extend beyond appearance. Certain fungi thrive in extreme conditions, from arid deserts to frozen tundras, using chemical and structural innovations to endure and reproduce. Others are specialists, relying on specific trees, soils, or decaying matter, forming precise symbiotic or parasitic relationships. Each adaptation reflects a long, patient evolutionary history, a quiet negotiation with environment, competitors, and opportunity. Mushrooms also exhibit astonishing reproductive strategies. Some produce spores that travel great distances on the wind, while others rely on insects, birds, or mammals to carry their life forward. Certain species synchronize fruiting with rainfall, temperature shifts, or seasonal cycles, ensuring that spores are released when conditions are ideal. Some even form massive underground networks that stretch for kilometers, connecting entire forests and maintaining ecological stability. Every adaptation is a subtle dance, balancing survival, growth, and reproduction in harmony with the ecosystem. Color, too, is an adaptation. Bright reds, yellows, or blues can serve as warnings to predators, signaling toxicity or unpalatability. Subtle browns and greens provide camouflage, allowing mushrooms to remain hidden from foraging animals until spores are ready to disperse. Even texture, slimy, dry, or delicate, can influence interactions with insects, moisture retention, and decomposition. In every aspect of their being, mushrooms demonstrate an elegant efficiency, perfectly attuned to their environment. Some species exhibit behaviors that seem almost magical. Bioluminescence, explosive spore release, and intricate fruiting patterns are not accidents. They are carefully evolved strategies designed to maximize survival and ensure the continuity of life. Each mushroom is a living experiment, testing and refining adaptations over millennia, quietly perfecting the art of existing in balance with everything around it. The diversity of mushrooms is also a reminder of interconnectedness. Each adaptation supports not only the fungus itself but the broader ecosystem. Specialized decomposers enrich soil for plants, symbiotic partners sustain trees, and toxic or unpalatable species influence food webs and animal behavior. Every species, no matter how obscure, contributes to the intricate web of life, reinforcing the importance of patience, cooperation, and resilience. Observing the incredible diversity of fungi invites awe, curiosity, and reflection. In a single forest, one might encounter dozens of species, each uniquely shaped, colored, and adapted. Together, they form a tapestry of life, quietly maintaining balance, inspiring wonder, and demonstrating the subtle genius of evolution. Mushrooms teach us that beauty and function often coexist in ways that are delicate, sophisticated, and profoundly interconnected. In this diversity lies a lesson for life itself. Adaptation, patience, and observation are as vital as strength or speed. The world thrives not only because of the large or the visible, but because of countless small, quiet, and ingenious forms working tirelessly day after day, year after year. And in the calm presence of mushrooms, we are reminded to slow down, notice, and appreciate the astonishing complexity that exists all around us. To truly understand mushrooms, we must travel back in time, hundreds of millions of years before humans walked the earth. Fungi are among the oldest life forms on the planet, quietly shaping ecosystems long before trees, mammals, or birds existed. Their story is one of patience, resilience, and adaptation, unfolding over geological time in ways that are subtle yet profoundly influential. The earliest fungi emerged over 1 billion years ago, evolving in aquatic and terrestrial environments. At first, They were simple, single-celled organisms, but over eons, they developed complex structures, mycelium, fruiting bodies, and intricate reproductive strategies that allowed them to colonize land and thrive in diverse ecosystems. These early fungi played a crucial role in breaking down organic matter, recycling nutrients, and preparing the soil for plants that would later dominate the earth. Without their quiet labor, the landscapes we know today might never have existed. As forests began to emerge, fungi formed vital partnerships with plants, helping them absorb nutrients, resist stress, and flourish. This symbiosis, honed over millions of years, shaped entire ecosystems. Mycorrhizal networks connected roots across the forest floor, enabling communication, resource sharing, and resilience. Fungi and plants evolved together, each influencing the other's growth, survival, and diversity. The forest itself became a product of this long, patient collaboration. The evolutionary journey of fungi also includes remarkable experimentation. Some species developed the ability to glow in the dark, others evolved toxins to deter predators, and yet others refined their reproductive strategies to optimize spore dispersal. Over time, these adaptations allowed fungi to colonize deserts, tundras, tropical forests, and even urban environments. Their success lies in subtlety, flexibility, and the capacity to work invisibly, quietly influencing the balance of life without drawing attention. Fungi have also survived mass extinctions, climate shifts, and geological upheavals, emerging each time as resilient stewards of life. Their ability to endure lies in patience and adaptation, the slow accumulation of traits that allow them to persist under changing conditions. Some mycelial networks, stretching across forests, may be thousands of years old, living testimonies to longevity and continuity. In their quiet persistence, fungi remind us that time is not measured by human lifespans but by the enduring rhythms of life itself. Even the visible mushrooms we encounter today are fleeting glimpses of this ancient history. Each cap, stalk, and gill represents the culmination of millions of years of evolution, a snapshot of strategies refined through patience and trial. When we see a mushroom emerging after rain, we witness not just the present, but a lineage that has survived, adapted, and thrived through countless cycles of life and death. The ancient history of fungi also teaches us humility. These organisms, often overlooked, have shaped Earth's ecosystems more profoundly than we can imagine. They facilitated the rise of forests, supported the evolution of countless species, and continue to maintain ecological balance. Their evolutionary journey is a meditation on patience, resilience, and interconnectedness, a story that unfolds slowly, quietly, and beautifully. In reflecting on the deep history of fungi, we begin to understand their timeless wisdom. Life persists not through haste, but through careful adaptation, subtle influence, and patient collaboration. Mushrooms carry within them the memory of Earth itself, a reminder that even the smallest forms of life can leave a profound, enduring mark. As we walk among them, we connect not only to the forest of today but to the ancient rhythms that have shaped life for eons, inviting calm, curiosity, and a deep appreciation for the quiet genius of nature. Beneath the forest floor, hidden from sight, lies a vast network that rivals the complexity of any city or neural system, the mycelial network. These intricate threads of fungi stretch for meters, sometimes kilometers, connecting trees, plants, and microorganisms in a silent web of communication. In this quiet, hidden world, mushrooms and their networks demonstrate a form of intelligence that is subtle, patient, and profoundly connected. Mycelium does more than provide nutrients to its own fruiting bodies. It acts as a conduit for information. Chemical signals travel through these underground threads, alerting neighboring plants to threats such as pests, diseases, or environmental stress. Trees that seem isolated are, in fact, part of a living conversation, sharing resources, warnings, and support. The forest floor hums with unseen messages, a quiet symphony of cooperation that sustains life above ground. Some scientists have begun to describe mycelial networks as the wood wide web, an intricate system that mirrors neural networks in form and function. While fungi do not think in the human sense, Their ability to sense, respond, and adapt to environmental cues demonstrates a remarkable intelligence. They optimize nutrient flow, prioritize growth, and even mediate competition between plants, all without a central brain or conscious awareness. The forest becomes a living organism, guided by the subtle wisdom of fungi. Fungal networks also facilitate generosity and balance. Older, established trees often share resources with younger saplings through mycelium, ensuring the survival of the next generation. This quiet redistribution of nutrients is a form of ecological foresight, a patient orchestration that maintains forest health and resilience. In this way, mushrooms teach us that intelligence can exist not in dominance, but in connection, cooperation, and the careful balance of give and take. Even interactions between fungi and other organisms are guided by this subtle intelligence. Mycelium can detect the presence of competing fungi or invasive species, redirecting growth to maintain harmony and stability. It communicates with bacteria, insects, and plants in ways that foster resilience and productivity. Every thread, every connection, every chemical signal is part of a continuous negotiation, a dialogue that sustains the forest without haste or disruption. The elegance of this system is matched by its patience. Messages travel slowly, growth occurs over weeks or months, and responses are measured. There is no rush, no immediate gratification, only the quiet unfolding of life in tune with environmental rhythms. For humans accustomed to speed and urgency, observing fungal networks is a gentle reminder of the value of timing, patience, and subtlety. In contemplating the intelligence of fungi, we see that wisdom does not require a brain, and influence does not require force. Mushrooms and mycelium teach us that life thrives through observation, adaptation, and connection. Their networks are a meditation on the power of quiet action, the resilience of patience, and the beauty of interconnectedness. Walking through a forest, one might never see these networks, yet their presence is everywhere, in the vitality of the trees, the richness of the soil, and the resilience of ecosystems. Mushrooms remind us that intelligence can be hidden, subtle, and indirect, but no less profound. By listening to their silent messages, we learn to appreciate the quiet genius that sustains life beneath our feet, connecting all living things in a delicate, patient, and endlessly fascinating web. As we reach the final part of our quiet journey, we pause to reflect on the subtle wisdom that mushrooms offer. Though small, often overlooked, and fleeting in appearance, they embody principles that resonate far beyond the forest floor. Through their existence, growth, and interactions, mushrooms teach timeless lessons about patience, resilience, connection, and the delicate balance of life. Mushrooms remind us that growth is often slow, unseen, and steady. Beneath the surface, the mycelium works quietly for months, even years, before a single fruiting body emerges. Life is rarely immediate. Its most profound changes often begin in hidden places, nurtured by time, care, and persistence. Observing mushrooms encourages us to trust the quiet rhythms of our own lives, to honor preparation and unseen labor, and to recognize that progress is often invisible until the moment it becomes manifest. They also teach the power of connection. Mycelial networks link trees, plants, and soil, forming intricate webs of communication and resource sharing. No organism thrives in isolation. Every life is intertwined, influencing and supporting countless others. This interconnectedness extends beyond the forest. It reminds us of our own relationships, our communities, and the ecosystems in which we exist. Mushrooms demonstrate that strength comes from collaboration, that resilience arises from networks of care and exchange, and that life flourishes when it nurtures others as well as itself. Mushrooms embody balance and adaptability. They recycle nutrients, support plant growth, mediate competition, and respond to environmental changes with subtle intelligence. They thrive in diverse conditions, from lush rainforests to frozen tundras, yet always in harmony with their surroundings. In this, they remind us that survival depends not on force or haste, but on observation, flexibility, and responsiveness. Life's challenges are best met with quiet adjustment and patient wisdom. Their ephemeral beauty also teaches humility. Each mushroom emerges briefly, disperses its spores, and fades, leaving the forest enriched and renewed. Life is temporary, yet each action, no matter how small or fleeting, contributes to the continuity of ecosystems, stories, and generations. By embracing impermanence, mushrooms show us how to live fully in the present, appreciating every subtle moment and interaction. Mushrooms inspire curiosity and wonder. From glowing bioluminescence to intricate gill patterns, from ancient evolutionary histories to cultural myths, they invite exploration, reflection, and imagination. They remind us that even the quietest, smallest forms of life can hold infinite complexity, beauty, and meaning. By paying attention to these gentle teachers, we cultivate mindfulness, reverence, and a deeper sense of connection to the natural world. Finally, mushrooms teach patience, persistence, and respect for the cycles of life. They grow, decay, recycle, and sustain, creating systems of balance that endure far beyond individual lifespans. In every forest, meadow, and hidden grove, mushrooms quietly embody the principles of life itself: growth, cooperation, renewal, and harmony. Observing them encourages us to slow down, breathe, and notice the subtle forces that sustain existence. As our journey comes to a close, we carry with us the lessons of patience, connection, resilience, and wonder. Mushrooms remind us that life thrives not in haste, but in careful observation, thoughtful interaction, and quiet persistence. They teach that even the smallest forms of life can have profound influence, that beauty can be fleeting yet eternal in impact, and that every thread, every organism, and every action contributes to the intricate, interconnected tapestry of existence. In the gentle presence of mushrooms, we find meditation, inspiration, and reassurance. Life is a slow, intricate dance, a web of connections, and a continuum of care. And as we walk softly through forests, fields, and the quiet corners of our minds, mushrooms stand as patient teachers, silently guiding us to see, feel, and understand the world in its richest, most interconnected form. As we reach the final part of our quiet journey, we pause to reflect on the subtle wisdom that mushrooms offer. Though small, often overlooked, and fleeting in appearance, they embody principles that resonate far beyond the forest floor. Through their existence, growth, and interactions, mushrooms teach timeless lessons about patience, resilience, connection, and the delicate balance of life. Mushrooms remind us that growth is often slow, unseen, and steady. Beneath the surface, the mycelium works quietly for months, even years, before a single fruiting body emerges. Life is rarely immediate. Its most profound changes often begin in hidden places, nurtured by time, care, and persistence. Observing mushrooms encourages us to trust the quiet rhythms of our own lives, to honor preparation and unseen labor, and to recognize that progress is often invisible until the moment it becomes manifest. They also teach the power of connection. Mycelial networks link trees, plants, and soil, forming intricate webs of communication and resource sharing. No organism thrives in isolation. Every life is intertwined, influencing and supporting countless others. This interconnectedness extends beyond the forest. It reminds us of our own relationships, our communities, and the ecosystems in which we exist. Mushrooms demonstrate that strength comes from collaboration, that resilience arises from networks of care and exchange, and that life flourishes when it nurtures others as well as itself. Mushrooms embody balance and adaptability. They recycle nutrients, support plant growth, mediate competition, and respond to environmental changes with subtle intelligence. They thrive in diverse conditions, from lush rainforests to frozen tundras, yet always in harmony with their surroundings. In this, they remind us that survival depends not on force or haste, but on observation, flexibility, and responsiveness. Life's challenges are best met with quiet adjustment and patient wisdom. Their ephemeral beauty also teaches humility. Each mushroom emerges briefly, disperses its spores, and fades, leaving the forest enriched and renewed. Life is temporary, yet each action, no matter how small or fleeting, contributes to the continuity of ecosystems, stories, and generations. By embracing impermanence, mushrooms show us how to live fully in the present, appreciating every subtle moment and interaction. Mushrooms inspire curiosity and wonder. From glowing bioluminescence to intricate gill patterns, from ancient evolutionary histories to cultural myths, they invite exploration, reflection, and imagination. They remind us that even the quietest, smallest forms of life can hold infinite complexity, beauty, and meaning. By paying attention to these gentle teachers, we cultivate mindfulness, reverence, and a deeper sense of connection to the natural world. Finally, mushrooms teach patience, persistence, and respect for the cycles of life. They grow, decay, recycle, and sustain, creating systems of balance that endure far beyond individual lifespans. In every forest, meadow, and hidden grove, mushrooms quietly embody the principles of life itself: growth, cooperation, renewal, and harmony. Observing them encourages us to slow down, breathe, and notice the subtle forces that sustain existence. As our journey comes to a close, we carry with us the lessons of patience, connection, resilience, and wonder. Mushrooms remind us that life thrives not in haste, but in careful observation, thoughtful interaction, and quiet persistence. They teach that even the smallest forms of life can have profound influence, that beauty can be fleeting yet eternal in impact, and that every thread, every organism, and every action contributes to the intricate, interconnected tapestry of existence. In the gentle presence of mushrooms, we find meditation, inspiration, and reassurance. Life is a slow, intricate dance, a web of connections, and a continuum of care. And as we walk softly through forests, fields, and the quiet corners of our minds, mushrooms stand as patient teachers, silently guiding us to see, feel, and understand the world in its richest, most interconnected form.